Okay, this is wonderful to hear you share your story. I'm Monsignor Hunt.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, you're most welcome. This is March 22nd, 2024. And so we're just going to jump into the questions about when and where you were born.
I was born in a place called Crablane, Ireland, in County Wicklow in November 29, 1941.
Oh, wow, okay. And what was your family background? What is...
Well, I guess back then Ireland was a third world country. Lived in a house that didn't have electricity or running water or anything like that. We had to walk, I guess, maybe a mile and a half to where there was a well in a field to draw water.
Wow, did you have to walk to school, I guess?
I had to walk to school, exactly. I had to walk to school about 2.5 miles.
Wow.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
In the snow.
In the snow, right. Your brothers, you had Patrick?
Yeah, Peter, my brother. It was just the two of us. My father died when I was 3 and Peter was, I guess he was 5.
Okay.
And my mother had to go to work. There was no social assistance back then.
Yeah.
So she went to work. She would work at cleaning people's houses or doing laundry or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And but she lived to be 93, thank God, and she really did a marvelous job in raising both of us.
Right. Did she really influence you with the Catholic faith? Was she devout?
She was very devout Catholic, and she would, I guess, the last 30 years of her life, she would walk to Mass every day.
Wow.
And the rosary had to be said every evening.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. A lot of support, a lot of passing down of the traditions.
But I mean, she never influenced me in terms of say, hey, you need to become a priest. She never did that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That came up.
Yeah.
In another way. So.
Yeah.
What were your hobbies? What were some of the things you liked doing when you were a kid?
Well, I guess we did the usual things of playing Irish football and hurling, and that was about it. There was anything you participated in, you had to make your own way there. There was no public transportation, or the family didn't have a car, I guess, until I was in my 20s.
Wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was the name of your parish that you went to?
It's the parish of Clonmore, but it had 3 churches in it. Kilquiggan was the closest one to us. That was the one we attended all the time. That's where I received baptism, confession, and First Communion, confirmation.
Right. Do you remember any of the pastors there at the time?
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember Father O'Brien was there. The present pastor there is also called Father O'Brien, but there was no relationship. And Father MacDonald was the one that influenced me the most. Well, he was there. He was the one that arranged for me to go to the seminary. And
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you? Well, actually, how old were you when you first felt a call for that to go into the seminary? Did you have another goal you were thinking of? Did it come gradually, or were you always kind of thinking?
No, it came gradually. I really, when I first went to the seminary, I just went thinking, well, I got to get this out of my system.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would have stayed there.
Yeah.
the seminary, but
We never know.
and I stayed not because the food was good.
We never know. No. Well, and just to backtrack a little bit, do you remember? Did you go to a Catholic grammar school or a
Well,
public school?
all the schools in Ireland were Catholic schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember any of the nuns there that may have influenced you?
Never had a nun.
You had none of those nuns?
Never had a nun teacher.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Was there any particular saint that you felt close to in your spiritual life as a young man?
Not really, no. I guess today St. Joseph would be. But I always had a great devotion to Our Lady.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. How old were you when you were really thinking this might be what I might do, go to the seminary? Were you in your 20s? Were you a teenager?
No, I was. I guess I was. After I finished high school, I guess I was maybe 18.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then, what was your seminary training like? Did you have to go through philosophy first?
It was 2 years of philosophy and 4 years of theology.
Okay.
So, they never gave us any, they knew that we were coming to America because they didn't need us in Ireland at that time.
Yeah.
They had too many priests in Ireland. And the seminary knew that you'd have vocation directors from the United States, mostly from the South, would come over to the seminary every year.
Oh, wow.
Make a pitch, but Bishop Lennon, who was the rector of the seminary, he was the one that influenced me to come to the Diocese of Mobile, Birmingham at the time.
Yeah, what was it? They showed you pictures? Did they tell you about how hot it was going to be?
No,
I don't think they did that.
There was you couldn't look it up on the internet, or you had no, it was sight unseen. You just didn't know what you were getting into.
Wow.
So it was, but it was the right thing for me. It was the right vocation, and so I came out here in 1967. My first assignment was St. Mary's in Fort Walton Beach.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
Monsignor Cunningham was the pastor.
Oh, that's yeah. Did you know him prior to?
No,
you didn't
I
know.
had no clue. No. I of course came out from Dublin to New York. Spent the night in New York and came down to Mobile the next day. And it was in August. I remember getting off the airplane. I could feel the heat. And I figured, well, this must be coming from the airplane. It couldn't get any cooler the further away from the airplane I got.
No.
And Archbishop Tolan was the Archbishop at the time, so I spent the night in the Cathedral Rectory. Mm-hmm. And that time you had to take an oath against modernism.
Oh yeah.
Archbishop Lipscomb was the Chancellor at the time, and was one of the priests, Tag Deasy, who had just come out. So we both went into the Chancellor's office, and he handed us this big chart with the oath of against modernism. It was all in Latin, and as soon as he gave it to us, he left the office, and we looked at each other and said, well, let's be on the last line when he...
Did you understand Latin? There was no translation?
No.
No, really? You didn't know what you were saying? For that, it's interesting, huh?
So then he brought me down to see the Archbishop, and the Archbishop said, He didn't say you're welcome or how are you or anything else. He just said, oh, where are you assigned? I said, Fort Walton Beach, Archbishop. Well, that's plenty of work for you down there. That was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
Like, how was your trip? What is it? My gosh, okay.
Those were the good old days.
Wow. So let me go back, regress a little bit to think about the day that you were ordained. What's the date of your ordination date? When you were ordained a priest?
Oh, that's so long ago, I don't
Remember the date?
remember.
Okay.
No, it was the 6th of June.
6th of June. I see. He pulled a fast one there, you see. The 6th of June,
1967.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Some of Sergeant Pepper's, folks.
You want to go back further?
Yeah. No. So what a wonderful day. And then how long after you were ordained a priest did you come to the States? Did you leave?
Well, ordained in June, came out in August.
Okay. Wow. What was the situation with coming to the States? Were you limited in how often you could go back to Ireland, or could you go back once a year, or?
You could go back once a year. It used to be, before then, it used to be only every 3 years. But then that was changed. I was able to go back every year.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, so what was your, did you understand the accents in the South, or did you have to train your ear?
It took a while to get used to it. It was like being born again, but not in the charismatic sense. I mean, you had to get used to the only orientation the seminary gave us about coming to America was that we call a tap. You call it a faucet here.
Oh yeah. Oh right.
We call it a tap in Ireland. So they said your tap will be a faucet, and there'll always be salad on the table. That was our orientation.
My gosh. Okay. Wow. That's. You're on your own.
That's right.
Well, were you really on your own in the fact that there weren't any other Irish priests here at the time? Like you did work with Cunningham.
And Father Rooney, he was from Ireland too.
Okay, so you've had that must have been
Right.
consoling to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know.
But first weekend I was there, it was the old church, which was on Main Street. There was no air conditioning in the church.
Wow.
And I was sent over to hear confessions on a Saturday. Now there was a festival going on, the Billy Bowlegs Festival, and there was, explosions, and I could hear all this stuff, and I didn't know what it was. So I was sitting in the confessional, and a family came in. All the doors and all the windows were all open, and a family came in, and they seemingly had warned this little boy that he needed to be quiet in church because God was in there. So the little boy ran ahead of them, and he looked all around the church, and he said, "I don't see God in here." And I said to myself, that's my sentiments exactly.
Yeah. And it's very warm here too. Any other experiences as a new priest, with the sacraments or challenges? I mean, you have to do, hospital ministry or, take care of the sick, counseling, or anything that you enjoyed doing more than others.
Well, really, I enjoyed, so that when you're newly ordained, you want to get involved in everything. So,
right.
That's what I did.
Oh, good.
And St. Mary's is and was a big parish.
Yeah.
And so you had also a lot of military people, so you had to, that was it, I think it was Vietnam War was going on that time.
67, yeah.
Yeah, so used to go to the USO.
Mm-hmm.
They had a place downtown, and I met General Chappie James there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he was just a regular airman at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of challenges with families, you know, where husbands were in Vietnam,
Yeah,
and families
right.
were there. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of counseling and things like that then. Yeah.
Sure. Wow. So when you were Eglin Air Force Base
That's right.
was there, Hurlburt
Hurlburt, yeah,
was
we were
there.
right between two major.
Yeah, I think Camp Rudder may have been also there. May have a different name for the 6th Ranger Training Battalion.
Yeah.
May have been, but you may, yeah. But anyway, okay, wow. So that's quite a variety. And then how long were you at St. Mary's before
I
you?
was there for 6 years.
Mhm. And then where did you go?
Then I went to St. Stephen's. I was at St. Stephen's for just a couple of months. And then I was, my first pastorate was Our Lady of Victory in Crestview.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So I was shipped up there and in the country.
Shipped up there.
The Funiac Springs was a mission of Our Lady at that time.
Oh, is it okay?
Mhm.
Oh, sure, sure. Wow.
So the church in Crestview was just a converted house,
Yes.
and then there was a little room at the back that was the rectory. So the church and the rectory were joined together.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So I was never so close to the church as I was when I was in Crestview.
In Crestview. Was it like, well, St. Mary's in Fort Walton Beach now, the rectory is very close to the church.
Yeah.
Was it that close?
No.
Right.
Yeah,
There.
it was right there.
Okay.
And then, of course, then they built the parish school and auditorium, and then the masses were held mostly in the auditorium. Then eventually the church was built while I was there.
Sure. Okay. So, around that time then, what other priests from Ireland were in the diocese of, well, back then it was the diocese of
Mobile.
Mobile.
Birmingham.
Father James Gallagher was.
Yes, Father Gallagher and Brendan Heaslip, and of course Mike Mooney is still here, thank God. And
Ray Mullins.
Ray Mullins, yeah, there was a slew of Irish guys at
Right.
the time.
Yeah. And did you all get together occasionally? I know there was a group that would play golf.
Yeah.
Maybe in the later years, maybe in the 70s.
Yeah, there was a group that would play golf, but and I tried it for a while, but they would rush out to the golf course, they would play the game of golf, and then everybody would leave. There was
Nothing after that.
no social interaction.
Yeah, it was all on the golf,
Yeah.
on the golf course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Did you have influence on young people in those early years, young boys, to maybe become priests that you know of back in those years?
Gosh, I don't know. I think not back then. I don't think so. But I guess since I've been here, I think we've had some influence, like yourself.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, definitely. This man here definitely interests me. In fact, you put the chasuble on me.
That's right.
On when I was ordained, and I'm very grateful always for you. Definitely.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Well, so then after you left that parish, where did you go? Where are we at now?
Well, we were in Crestview and the Funiac Springs. So.
Okay.
And then we were, I guess, while I was in Fort Walton Beach, my first year there, we went to Mobile Spring Hill College for our annual retreat. And while we were before the retreat, I got a letter from the Archbishop saying that I was appointed the exegetator for the retreat.
That sounds lethal. Can you explain what that means? It's a very serious.
That you rang the bell before the each lecture.
Oh, is that what it was? Hey, were you always on time?
Yeah, it's a pain in the neck. You have to be watching the clock and
Right,
the
man.
bell.
Father Quasimodo.
Yeah. So when we were at that retreat, then it was announced that we were becoming part of the Diocese of St. Augustine.
Okay.
And while I was in Fort Walton Beach, I was in 3 different dioceses. It was Mobile, Birmingham when I went there, then became St. Augustine, and then it became the Diocese of Pensacola, Tallahassee.
Why was there such a change so often in that period of time? What was governing
Well,
that?
I guess Florida was growing, and then I guess the Mobile, Birmingham, you had different state regulations
Yeah.
and rules and things like that. So I guess they wanted to, just make Florida its own diocese.
So who would be the bishop? So what year are we speaking about now? Where are we? What year is?
Well, I guess Bishop Tanner was the Bishop of St. Augustine, and I guess after about 6 years after that, we were on retreat in St. Augustine, and Archbishop Fulton Sheen was the retreat master.
Wow, tell me about that. What was that like? Was it for a few days?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
a few
we
days.
have right
Oh,
now,
okay.
same
Yeah.
deal. Yeah, it was very interesting. It really was.
Oh, he is.
Excellent speaker, of course.
That's for sure.
And and then while we were on retreat there, it was announced we were becoming the Diocese of Pensacola, Tallahassee.
Yeah. Okay.
And Bishop Gracida, he was the first bishop.
Right, and then you had a role with him too.
Yeah, I was his MC for 8 years, all the time he was here.
Why did he choose you? What was so special about you?
Well, that's exactly it. I was special.
Of course. That's wow. Because that's where I remember meeting you.
Yeah.
Right, with the Bishop Gracida.
That's right. He used to.
70s.
That was at the roundup, wasn't it?
Yeah, you came, right, and he had sideburns, that was it, and very quiet. Little did we know. But humble, yeah. So, yeah.
So during those 8 years, I got every mission and parish in the diocese, for confirmations.
Yeah, that's a great, like another education about the diocese.
That's true, it
That
was,
helped
yeah.
you to do what you would do later on
Yeah.
in the years. You got to know the lay of the land,
Exactly.
so to speak, And so then what year did you, after then you came to St. Anne's? Was that the next
No,
parish? Or you were someplace
I
else?
was rector of the cathedral for 4 years.
Ah, okay.
So it was quite a change to come from Crestview, where the church was about the size of this room, to the...
Yeah. Wow. Yes. And who were your parochial vicars then? Do you remember? Back then.
At the cathedral?
Yeah. And,
Well, I guess Todd Havier was there, and Mike Foley, and there was another guy, he left, I forget his name now, but he didn't continue in the priesthood.
yeah.
So there was 3.
So yeah, Mike Foley is from Ireland. So were any of these other priests that came over after you, or did you know them prior to prior to them coming over?
No, because back then there was at least 4 seminaries in Ireland. Right now there's only one, Maynooth.
Maynooth,
I think
okay.
they've only got 50 students for the whole country.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there was 42 in my class, 42 of us ordained in 67.
Right, and then plus the others. And on the average, those classes like 40.
Well, they kept
year.
declining after that.
Yeah.
know. Uh-huh.
Right. Now, did you go to the same seminary that Father Gallagher went to? Is it
No.
Carlo or?
I went to Carlo. I think he went to Wexford.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so then you came then from the cathedral, then you came to St. Anne's, or is that correct?
Yeah, well, well, no, because I was vicar for parishes, and I used to live at St. Anthony's, and I was full time at the pastoral centre.
Oh, right.
For 4 years, and then Bishop Brasida was transferred to Corpus Christi, and when Bishop Simons came, I travelled with him for about 6 months. And, got him oriented about the parishes and things.
Sure,
like that.
right. Now,
And he was the one that appointed me pastor here at St.
Over here.
Anne's. Yeah.
now Bishop Brasida, he flew, right?
Did,
Did
yeah.
you ever fly with him?
All the time.
How was he
Yeah.
as a pilot? Were you ever nervous with that, or?
No, because he made me take flying lessons in case
Really?
he passed out, and
I didn't know that.
yeah, uh-huh.
That's really
So
amazing.
yeah, I often got a chance to,
Really?
if he was wanting to write a sermon or sign papers,
Yeah.
I would fly the airplane.
Wow. Oh, wow.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Traveled all over the country with him in that airplane.
Did you really? That's really cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
I remember going to where was it? Chicago when the John Paul II.
oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or no, it was Washington.
Washington.
But I was in Chicago with him too, Washington.
Yeah. So, wow, that's a. And so, your last flight? When was your last time in the cockpit?
Oh gosh, it's been what, 40 years ago?
Really? You want to go fly today?
No, sir. Couldn't even fly a kite now in an airplane.
Oh, wow. All right. So, the history of now St. Anne's here. What year St. Anne's started? Was that in the 50s? This parish.
I think it was in the 60s.
60s.
The church was built in 62.
62. And was Father James Gallagher the first?
He was the first pastor.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay. I moved down in 1967. So that's where I lived. That was part of this parish. That's where I met Father Gallagher.
And then I think he was, Father Clereevy came after him.
Clereevy came after him. Right?
Yeah.
And then, I forget who came after Father Clereevy. There's 2 or 3. You came here in the 80s?
84.
84. Yeah, 84. And touched many people's lives.
Hope so.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt, mine included. And, absolutely. And so shortly after 84, there was a group of us who went to Chimbote, Peru.
Correct.
Correct. And that was a whole. Had you ever gone on a mission trip before to South America prior to
No,
that?
never had. Yeah, that was an eye-opening experience, wonderful experience, it really was.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess the thing I remember most about those trips was that you know, when you prayed the breviary or you prayed the rosary, it took on a whole different meaning.
Yes.
And said when you said celebrate Mass, it took on a whole different meaning in that environment, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was a great experience.
Any particular stories from those trips you want to share?
Well, there's, I mean, any time you were on the trip, the experiences cannot be shared on.
Yes, we know that. I was hoping we'd kind of skirt that, but that'll be in the next video, which you won't see.
He was La Bamba down there. He was like the Pied Piper.
Yeah, but I remember,
Yeah, you know, we always took some medical people down there with us, and we all met together in the evening for dinner. And the doctors would be passing around pictures of tumors and things like that they had cut out.
They were like MASH unit or something. Yeah. And but the first trip that anyone took, I would think, I know my first trip, the culture shock for me wasn't going from the States to Peru. It was coming from Peru back to the States.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have that?
Yeah. I think Hector had that in a big way.
Oh yeah.
When he came back, I think it was a Thanksgiving he came back for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, you never had rode in a car down there that had 4 good tires on it. You know?
No.
And it was always the miracle of every trip was that you survived.
Yeah.
And gosh, I remember when the Shining Path were very active down there.
Right, it's the late 80s,
You
early
see them
90s.
riding around the streets in Lima with machine guns and everything else like that.
Yeah, which in 1991 is when 3 priests were killed.
Yeah, and we were privileged enough to go back and see the shrine that they had erected for those priests. And then for their beatification too, that was a powerful experience.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. That was, I forget what year that was, but that was, let's see, they were killed in 91, a priest from Italy,
That's right.
and 2 from Poland, 2 Franciscan young fellows. And Father Jack Davis was the priest from Devil's Lake, or Fargo, North Dakota, that has been down there since the early 70s, I believe. And so, the Shining Path were increasing their threats to the church and to the government. And so the 3 priests that had been assassinated in 91, so we went down for their beatification.
Yeah.
And what was your thoughts? I mean, it was a powerful experience.
Yeah,
the whole
it was.
soccer
Stadium was
full.
filled. Yeah, really was. Yeah, it's an unforgettable experience.
Yeah, and the people were that had lived under that terror were together fearlessly. Love conquers fear. So
But it was always great to see people coming down for the first time. I always liked to take them up to the open market. It was up the street from the church, and they'd have all the meat out, and they'd be swatting the flies off of it. And
exactly. Didn't you get a watch ripped off your? Didn't somebody steal something from you, or was that?
That was a camera.
A camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
No, he never got it back, folks, either.
No.
And that first trip, Fred Garcia, who his camera, his video camera was stolen.
That's right.
In the airport.
In the airport. That's right.
Anyway, tell me. Let's discuss about your how was it just, you've been celebrating Mass, well, what was your latest anniversary? You were 67, so it's going on, how many years now?
Do the math.
Do the math, and no, I was never good at math, you do it.
I guess 56
56?
years.
Oh yeah, 56 years, right. What would you tell young men today who are interested in becoming priests? Any words for them that you might think?
Well, it's a great, wonderful experience, and if God calls you, He will support you in doing what needs to be done, and certainly the need for priests is greater today than it ever has been, and I know that there's several young men here that have great devotion to the Blessed Sacrament, and I'm hoping that they will think about it and hopefully do something about it.
Yeah, sure. Answer the call.
Mm-hmm.
You're not afraid.
Yeah.
Being a priest for as long as you've been, you've seen a lot of changes in the culture and in the church.
That's right.
You know, what are your hopes for the church for the future? What are your concerns for the church at the moment? How do you
Well, the church is its own greatest enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Second Vatican Council changed a lot of things, but it didn't change the governance of the church.
Right.
I think that any diocese, if it doesn't have a priest in it, that could be the bishop, shouldn't be a diocese. I think the way they have, in my career I've had 9 different bishops.
Yeah.
Yes. And all of them were from
different places.
Somewhere else.
Exactly, right.
Yeah. And I think that would facilitate more vocations and would facilitate, greater unity among priests with their bishops.
Sure.
And then, of course, the Dallas thing was what really drove a wedge between bishops and priests. The bishop can no longer really be a father figure to his priests.
Yeah.
Because if a child goes to his father and does something wrong, your first reaction would not be to turn him over to the law.
Yes, yeah.
But that's what has to happen today.
Yeah, that's so things have changed.
Yeah, definitely.
Dynamics have changed, and somehow we got us, good or bad, for better or for worse. God's got the perfect plan, but
yes, but He's imperfect people are trying to implement it.
Yes, exactly. Anything else that you'd like to share about your history or your life here?
Not really. I've always been in leadership roles in the diocese.
Yes.
Which was a great experience, but I guess the downside of it was that you never knew who were your friends.
Yes. Yeah, leadership could be a lonely
because
place.
And the only role I haven't had in the diocese was a dean. I never was a dean. But
never was a dean.
No, I was the chancellor. I was vicar general.
Here. Well, never too late.
No, I turn it down. I turn it down now.
Well, My last question would be, what are you most grateful for in the vocation of the priesthood? What are you most grateful for? Is that?
Yeah, I'm most grateful for just the experience of the priesthood. I mean, there've been lots of challenges, and there's been lots of times when you say, "Oh, geez, why did I get into this?"
Mm-hmm.
And but I can honestly say that it was the right thing for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was the right thing for those of us who love you and who've influenced, and we're very grateful for that too. So, well, thank you for sharing your story.
Well, thank you for making it happen. Thanks to David for.
David Teague is on the there. So thank you very much. I was thinking of something else. Maybe if you can remember this, just maybe give a history of the Irish priests when they came. Some of them are not here to speak anymore.
Right.
And I did want to focus on the history of the Irish citizens coming to the States, Irish priests or nuns for that matter. Is there anything you can share about that? Maybe in some of the priests that aren't here to speak about that, like Father Gallagher and Father Mullins. Anything that you can share, like when they came, and was it?
Well, I don't know when they came, but I mean, we're standing on their shoulders.
Yes, we are.
You know, and especially Father Gallagher that started the parish here, and Monsignor Mullins, and Monsignor Mullins really was a genius, but you never would know it.
Oh yeah, no. Well, unless you spent time.
Yeah, unless you spent time with him. Yeah, he really was.
He was.
Yeah, he was really in tune with the culture and with music
and the arts and literature. He had a classical
yeah,
education.
yeah.
I guess that's what that was.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it was called.
Yeah.
I mean, he could quote Shakespeare,
That's right.
sonnets,
Yeah.
Irish
Yeah.
limericks,
He really
poetry.
He really was a very intelligent man.
He was, and he could give his own commentary on
Yeah.
things and preface it with a little chuckle.
Yeah,
Like,
and he never lost his Limerick accent, and
no,
Monsignor Gallagher never lost his Roscommon accent. And
Roscommon.
even though people didn't always understand either of them, they loved them because of their gentleness and because of their piety, and they didn't need to be eloquent.
No, and they were passionate about the priesthood.
They were,
I think.
exactly.
They really were
Yeah,
great examples. They were
Yeah.
role models to me, and for sure. The accent now, Roscommon for Father Gallagher. Yours would be also. What would you say?
Well, every county in Ireland has a different accent.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in Ireland, if you speak to somebody, you can know immediately what county they're from.
Sure. Yeah, it's like New York in a sense.
Yeah.
If you're from Brooklyn or from the
Right.
Bronx or Long Island.
Yeah,
these
but
kind of things.
I guess the Cork accent, well, I guess would be the hardest to understand, and then the Northern Ireland accent is even harder because it's like an automatic weapon that comes boom, 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 boom.
Yes. Well, we have that in New York. I mean,
Yeah.
can you demonstrate? Can you give us a variety of accents?
No, I
No,
can't.
you can't do that. I could do that. You got a problem with this? I mean, New York. So no, we won't put you on the spot with that. But, all right. Well, I think anything else you want to share? Okay.
This was great. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you
God
too,
bless you.
Mike.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, David.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Oh, yeah.